Do you live in California or some other place where you have outages all the time, or you're going to customers and you want to have a generator but you don't have to have a noisy generator and you want to use a quiet car? I'm going to show you and teach you how you can turn your car into a generator, electric generator, very quickly and very economically in few steps. Do you want to turn your car into an electric generator? I'm going to teach you step by step how you can do that. So in this case, we are going to start with the theory first, and then we're going to see the practice, and let's see how everything is connected and how everything works. So basically, you're going to have two types of generators. You have the end user, you know, the regular ones, the basic one, the consumer grade. Those are, they're okay, it depends. Go to Amazon and see their rating and see what people say about them. And then you have the commercial grade. The commercial grade, usually those are the best one. So in this case, we have the battery of your car, 12 volts, and then we have this. So basically, this turns 12 volts that you have here in 110. If you're in Europe, maybe 220. But basically, it depends on whatever you want to have in your car. If you want to have 220, you can get one of these of 220. If you're here in US, 110. So in order to connect this, is very easy. All you have to do is you have two terminals here. You have the positive and the negative. So we have the positive here. We have to connect it to the positive here on this side, and then we have the negative here. We have to connect it here. So in this case, in order to save one wire, you can use the chassis of your car. So that way you can connect this to the seat. For instance, one of the bolts in that you have in the seat, in the driver's seat, and then the other one will go to the chassis automatically, so you don't have to do anything. So that way you can close the circuit and everything will work. So also remember, besides, before you connect this, in some of the inverters you may have the fuse here built in. That is great. If it doesn't have it, you have to add another one, or you have to add one, because you're not going to have one. So if you're wondering, okay, what type of fuse should I add? You have basically two types. You have the Mega one, the Mega style, and then you have the ANL. Usually the ANL, those are the cheapest one. You have maybe other type of another styles, but this is the one that most people use. So if you're wondering, okay, what type of fuse should I use? It depends. So here, for instance, you have different sizes. So if you want like a small inverter, like 1500 watts or 2000, 3000, 5000, whatever size that you want, it's depending on the cable that you're going to use and the fuse. So there are many calculators online. If you Google it, you will type fuse calculator, and then depending on what you're installing, that is what you're going to use. The same thing with the cables. So if you're in Europe, you use millimeters, and if you're here in US, you're going to use AWG gauge. So that is the thickness of the cable. So let's say if you are using 1500 watts, for instance, at least in my case, because my consumption is very low, I'm going to use it just for the power tools, or maybe for a small power tool, and that's it. Usually I charge my phones, I charge my laptops, and I charge my batteries, everything with this. So in this case I'm using gauge 2, but if you have a larger consumer or something like that, you have to use a gauge 0 or 00 or 000. So here in with the AWG, if you the thicker the cable is, the lower the number is. So let's say, for instance, here I have many rolls of cables. So let's say this cable, it might be 22 or 24, something like that, a gauge. And if you want something like this very thick, you're going to use like my thumb, or like this. You're going to use maybe 2 or 0 or 00 or something like that. So the thicker it is, the lower the number goes. And that is how it works. Also, you have to think about something else. Make sure that the battery keeps, you keep the battery full all the time. So if you run the cable, I mean, if you run the car all the time, or if you let it, if you leave it running, the battery will be full all the time. And if you're using, like a large tool or something like that is pulling a lot of power, that will keep the battery full. But if you're using something like small like me, like charging my batteries or charging a laptop or cell phone or something like that, sometimes I leave the car overnight. I leave this on overnight, and next day is fine. The car just starts just fine, and everything, all my batteries and everything is full because it doesn't pull that much power. But it depends what type of usage you're going to give to this inverter. So that is how the inverter works. So in inverters you have different things, different values. So you have the peak and then you have the running watts. So it's like the regular generators. You buy maybe a Honda generator and it says EU 7000, and then yes, maybe 7000 peak of consumption, but the running watts is maybe 5,000 or something like that. With this is the same thing. In this case, I'm using a Spartan inverter, and this Spartan inverter is 3,000. But if you want to use it, for constant consumption, is 1,500. So that is maximum. So if you're going to use it, for a circular saw or something that is going to pull a lot of power, I would recommend at least 2,500 watts or 3,000. So that will be the ideal. If you're going to use it, like something like me for small tools, charging laptops, cell phones, little things, 1,500, to me is plenty enough. I didn't have any issue running all those things at the same time. So with the inverters, you're going to have two types of inverters. So before we jump into the practice, like I said, this is theory, so that way you know everything before you start playing with your car or your truck. So you're going to have three types usually. You have the square, the semi-square, and the pure sine wave. So what I recommend always, if you buy this type of inverters, buy a pure sine wave, because if you buy something else with electronics, you're going to have problems. If you're using it maybe for tools, you don't care and you want to spend as little as possible, okay, buy whatever. But if you're going to use it, for instance, in my case, computers, cell phones, and tools, if you have pure sine wave, your computer will work just fine. If you connect this, for instance, I have done this before with another, very low quality or just a square inverter wave, and you connect the cell phone and you want to use it, and the cell phone will start acting weird. So that is why, because the power is not right, the wave is bad. And if you use a pure sine wave, the computer will work fine, cell phone will work fine, tablets, whatever, any tool will work just fine. You're not going to have any issue. But those are the things that you have to keep in mind. So now you're thinking, okay, can I connect it maybe in a hybrid car? I don't want to leave the car running all the time or something like that. I want to give you a few solutions for that. So let's say if you have a hybrid, okay, great, you don't have to do anything. Yeah, the car will turn on by itself, will shut off by itself, and you don't have to do anything. I left my car many times, 24 hours or 48 hours on all the time, because I'm charging something else, and it doesn't matter. I can leave the car and you will, start the car, the engine will start every 2-3 hours, and then it will run maybe 10-15 minutes. They charge the battery, and then it shut off by itself, and that's it, and like that all the time. So what happens if you have just a regular car, a regular truck, or you don't have that feature? here's the solution. I have done this with this truck that I have. And you can install a Viper alarm. So if you install, I think the model is SP4, but if you want to know more about that, maybe I can leave the link of the alarm in the video description. Just ask for it, and I'll add it to the comment section, or maybe video description. This Viper alarm, it has a sensor. When the battery goes, lower down, you can set whatever amount that you want of, to have. Let's say that you say, okay, when the battery is under 11 volts, I want the engine to start. So the alarm by itself, you don't have to do nothing. It will start the engine. It will make it run, half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. The battery will be full once again, and it will shut off by itself. You don't have to do anything. So that is great. It will keep your car maybe warm or cold. It depends. Also, the battery will be fully charged all the time. So that is great. This will help you a lot, because if you have to go, for instance, to a customer, and you go to a parking lot and you have to do some work installing video surveillance or maybe something else, and you don't have power, or maybe a storage unit. I have done this. It happened to me before, going places they don't have power. You connect your inverter here, and that is free. Another advantage that you have doing these type of things is that you don't have to worry about, okay, I have to run the generator maybe once a month or every 2 months, or you don't have to worry, that the fuel will get bad or something like that. Or it will always run. Also, I mean, your car, if you use it every day, it will run every day. So you're not going to have any issue. You're going to have power every time. Even if you have if you're living maybe in California, you're living in South America or a third world country, and you have outages all the time. With this is a great solution. Also, you don't have to worry about the noises or anything like that. Even if you buy the generators, the quiet ones, they're going to be louder than a car. So with the car, it's always quiet, and it works great. This is a great solution, very economical, and you don't have to buy something else. It's not another product. You have the car already. You buy these. Usually these type of things, you can buy something for like 300, 400, or if you want, top notch, maybe 2,000, something like that. But that will be plenty enough. Like I said, I am in US. If you want me to send you some product like that, please let me know. I want you to send me whatever. I'll test it for you, and I'll send it to whatever country you are in. Otherwise, if you're here in US, I'll try to leave the video in the link, so that way you can buy it. Now let's start with the practice, so that way you know how to do this type of work. You want to install an inverter? I'm going to show you in this case how to install it under the seat. I have this van that you see here. This is a CD. It's a ProMaster CD, as you can see here. And I ran the cable. I'm going to show you how to do this, so that way you can crimp the cable, connect it to the battery, and then running it inside, remove the seats and everything. So now I'm going to explain you step by step what you have to do. Alright, so in this case, what I did, I made a hole over there. That is very easy with any hole saw, because it is all a piece of rubber that you can make a hole with that. And then after that, you have to remove this. This is very easy. You have to only pull it. Once you pull it, it will come out loose, the handle that you have here, for instance, for this. And the rest is very easy. It's all snapped in. There are no screws or anything like that. You have to pull it up, and it will come loose, as you can see over there. Here you have it. And after that, you have the seat, and the seat is very easy. You have 4 screws, so you have to buy one of these sets, so that way you have the start, and you can remove this type of screws. So you're going to have 2 in the front, one here, two in the back. One is here and the other is horizontal. It's not vertical like this. So pay attention. And you have these two plugs that you have to unplug, and then after that you run the cable all the way over here, and then you will come over here. You cut it, you know, the length that you need. We should be set. So I'll keep showing you what I did here. What I did, I mark it with the marker here and here. What you do is you put it like that. As you can see, I just put the screws over there, so that way it will sit over there. And then after that we'll do the same thing here and here, and that should be it. Otherwise, maybe you can use some zip ties to keep it here, and we should be set. As you can see, we have the input, that is the input, and in the other side we have the output for the power. So you can turn it on and off with this, or you can use the remote control later. That is another option. So in this case, we're going to keep working. I'm going to install it here, and let's see how it goes. As you can see, I put the two screws. It's hanging here, but we are going to put more screws in the other side, so that way it will be firm. Right, as you can see, it's mounted. Looks great. All I have to do is just put the connections here. We should be set. Alright, as you can see, these are the screws that I was talking about. So you have to put them in, remove them, do the same thing in each place. You should be set. In order to remove the screws in the back, on the front, you have to move the seat back and forth, and that's it. So in this case, we're going to install this one. Okay, as you can see, on the right you have, in the back you have two screws. So I don't know why it has two screws, but I put them back, and that's it. So as you can see, we are ready to plug in anything. Alright, now we are going to put the shrinking tube inside, as you can see here, and then we're going to crimp it later with the battery, with the terminal that you see here. So in order to make it, so as you can see, it fits great. So in order to have better contact, we're going to make it, strip it a little bit longer, so that way, as you can see, it can fit all the way to the back of the connector. For that, we're going to use the Victorinox. I have the saber tool. It works great. So you cut it just on the side. As you can see, make sure that you don't press it. You don't do too much pressure. Otherwise, you're going to cut the cable. Just go all the way around, and that should be it. Once you have that, go, try to strip the cable little by little. Make sure that you have all the strands, or everything is good. Cut it, and then all we have to do is put the connector back and crimp it, and that should be it. As you can see, now we're fitting it inside. Alright, as you can see, all I did is crimping the cable here. Very easy with that tool that you see over here. Now that we have the other end, we remove the screw, put this in, we're going to put it against the other one. Alright, as you can see, we put it there, put this like that, and then we can connect this end over there. I'm not going to energize anything yet, but at least you know how it is done. Alright, we are here on this end, and the idea will be that you cut it kind of the same length as you see here, So that way you will have more surface to cut it, more surface to have the electricity going through. There you go. Squeeze it, twist it a little bit, and then we're going to put this like that. Before we do that, we have to put the shrinking tube. There you go, we got this. Now we can put it on top of this. And then we put this inside like that, and then we have to grab the crimper. For that, you have to push this in like that, and then you have to spin it. So in this case, we are using gauge 4, so you do basically the same thing here. So in this case I had it in 4 already, but that is how it goes. Hold it with your legs. And that should do the trick. All right, as you can see, it's firm and tight. Now we can put this like that, and now we use the heat gun and we should be good. All right. Perfect. So now we can put this in the inverter and we should be good. Right, as you can see, I'm building the other one. The negative, just cut a little bit of shrinking tube, a little bit longer than the terminal itself. That's it. So now we should put it like that. We should be great. If you are outside of the United States, you want me to send you some tools or anything like that, I send tools or anything anywhere. Just give me your address and then I'll send it to you. Or if you want me to do this shop for you, I can do that as well. So now we'll do this. And firm and tight. Now we're going to move the shrinking tube. Make sure that it's not too big, as if it's tight as possible, the better. And you don't have to apply so much heat. All right, perfect. Now we have this connector. We can put it in the terminal here and in the other side, and that's it. So I'm going to show you. As you can see, I have the other cable ready to go. Now I have to remove the terminal. We'll put it just here. As you can see, oops, I may have to use both hands, or I can give it a try once again. That's it. Now, yes. The other end for the negative, so we're going to put the screw like that, as you can see here. So this is the connector, as you can see. So what I did is I scraped all the paint. You can use the sander cloth, or you can use this. I use this. I mean, this works much better. So you do this very fast. Use safety glasses as usual, and once you scrape all the paint, now we can put the screw, and we should be great. We should be good now. As you can see, we have to run the zip ties. So we grab the zip ties. And we're going to run it underneath. There you go. And what I'm going to do, as you can see here, we have almost there. We will have to remove this, and the zip tie have to run and then underneath. Otherwise, it's going to be more complicated if you have to replace the zip tie. I mean the fuse later for any reason, and that will not be appropriate. There we go. Remove this. Remove the washer. Alright, so we take all this out of the way, and then we're going to run it underneath both, and we should be good now. It should stay under this. Hopefully it will not be on the way, but this should not move. It is on the way, so I think it's not a good idea. So what we are going to do, I made a hole here, as you can see, and we're going to put it, I was thinking in putting it here, but we're going to put it here. I think it's going to be a better idea. So we can leave it there. We have more holes, so if you want to put more than one screw, you can do that. Otherwise, I'll give it a try with this and I'll see how it goes. If you want me to do the show for you, just bring me your car and I can do it. Otherwise, just follow my instructions and you should be good. Alright, firm and tight. Seems like it's not going anywhere. Alright, as you can see, we are going to remove this, put this here, and we should be good. Alright, as you can see, I did a little modification. I bought a few nuts. As you can see, I used the nuts that came with this, so that way the cable is going to be firm on place. And I added the other ones, more nuts. So as you can see, this is the plan, because if you have to remove these, the fuse for some reason, you're going to have these cables flapping everywhere. Otherwise you have to disconnect it from here. So this is the trick. So you put it like that, you put it like this, and that's it. So if you have any problem, you replace it, and the cables are going to be in place all the time. Here we have the washers with the the locker washers and everything. So everything is going to stay in place. Alright, as you can see, it's working. So we're going to turn this on. As you can see, there you have the light. We have the light from the CFCI, and everything is good. So in this little inverter, up to 3000 watts peak, and running watts, it will be 1500. So at least for me, for tools, charging tools, maybe any other tool, or charging cell phones or anything like that. It will be very useful to have it, you know, in the car all the time. So now I have to put all the plastics where they should be, and we should be good. And we have to connect the plugs from the seat. That I forgot about that. Now I put this, but it's very easy. You have to put this first, and then you can put the rest. In order to take it in, take it out, here you have one screw here. You remove that screw that you see over there, and that's it. So in this case, I'm going to put it because I just finished with the job. Put this back, and that's it. This is a bonus material because I'm having some difficulties with this, and I don't want this to be exposed. As you can see, we have the positive, everything is covered, because if you're working here, you know, in the car with some metal tool, and for some reason you touch this, plus you're touching the ground, you know, something like that, you're going to have a huge spark. In order to avoid that, I would like to have this protected. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it before I finish this video, but I don't have the Velcro, at least I cannot find it right now. So my idea is, because I put these screw bolts on, I put these nuts here, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I want to remove that screw, and this is going to stay in place. That is a great thing. So I highly recommend to put two bolts in, two nuts in those size. And then I'm going to remove it, put a band of Velcro, and then once the Velcro is tied by the screw, I'm going to put it, I'm going to close it here, and it should stay just fine. Or otherwise, if you can get maybe a better brand, something that is going to be more reliable, that is going to stay no matter what, that is another option. If you have any question, please let me know in the section below. If you want me to do this job for you, you just bring me your card, contact me. All the information is in the video description, and see you next time.